Okay, today is January the 15th, 2017, and right now at 8 p.m. in the foothills of Los Angeles, we have a temperature of 51 degrees. The relative humidity is 86%. The barometer is on the rise at 30.02 inches, and the dew point is 47 degrees. And we had cloudy, damp weather all day. It looked like it might rain. And we also saw a lot of chemtrail aerosols during the times when the clouds would split up. We could look up and see they were definitely spraying a lot of aerosols in the skies. The planes, the jets were out spraying over the top of the moisture field right here, moving into Southern California. Now let's take a look here on the western U.S. map. We can see a lot of moisture, and we can also see a lot of transmitter activity going on here. We have all sorts of things going on. High pressure being installed here, which we see some strong clockwise rotation starting to develop here as this system begins to move in. We have a storm up here, and we've got a gale force, a very large gale force system right over here, starting to spin up. And so we have high pressure developing, setting up right here, and that will block a lot of this weather, and this is going to be forced up and into Canada. That's what we're seeing here with this big storm system. This is generating 36 or 38 foot swells up here in the Gulf of Alaska. All right, now yesterday evening, this system had a perfect right angle on it during a couple of the frames, and I was not able to make a video, but this is being manipulated. We can see a straight edge right along right there on the inner side, the inner core of that spinning vortex. So they are manipulating that system. There's very little rotation on this area here as this moisture wraps around and tries to get into that low pressure area. So we see basically a half moon of dark area. That's the transmitter at work, creating this flat. And then also we have another system out here, which is spinning counterclockwise right over here. And this is listed as a storm also. So these are both storms, this one here and this one over here. And then this is a gale. But this is a fierce looking weather system right here. We'll have to see what happens. We do see the high pressure setting up. There is a system right here spinning counterclockwise. And we see high pressure starting to develop here, which is going to force this system probably down and out through Baja, like we saw with this weather system right out over here, which brought a lot of wind to the foothills in Southern California here a couple of nights ago. All right, let's look at the rainbow map, the infrared map. We can see all that moisture offshore, and the chemtrails were sprayed very heavily all through the Southern California area. And we'll take a look at the MODIS Today map here in a couple of seconds. Also, we see all this moisture wrapping around. High pressure is being set up here. We can see that, all the outflow in this area, and that's going to force all this weather up into Canada, and maybe some of that'll end up in Washington State. And here on the western map, we can see this huge gale force system moving right towards the west coast. And we'll have to see what happens, but there is some high pressure being installed right in this area. We can see that area of high pressure right down here sort of mushrooming. This is the jet stream. It's moving up and then down and back around. We'll take a look at the jet stream map here as well. Here's the southwest water vapor loop. And we can see this system down here trying to develop. Now, one of the things I noticed, let's go back to this other map here for a second. We can see some rather odd activity right there. It looks as if a transmitter right in this area was superheating this area to prevent development. We see something blow out of the western side right there. This is trying to spin counterclockwise, and we see something here blowing out right there. And as we look at this in the close-up map here, we see a lot of the yellow. And shortly after that event happens, where we see that, I believe there is a transmitter working in this area, trying to break this down. And we see the dissipation of all this moisture. It's evaporating. And I think they targeted this area with a transmitter. And so we see a lot of dissipation here of all that moisture. So we've got high pressure behind this one low pressure system here, and we've got high pressure up on this side, and that's going to force this down and out, and probably out to the east. Okay, here's the surface analysis map, and we can see all that high pressure. This is the typical pattern we see over and over again. They've got high pressure here, and that is going to redirect this weather up and over. And we see a trough right here, right over California. We have this system here is a 963 millibar storm system moving to the north. Very large, powerful system that is generating, I think, 36-foot swells. Over here, at 170 degrees east longitude, I believe it is, we have a 968 millibar storm. This is moving to the east. Got high pressure up over Oregon and Washington as well to keep this, to prevent this system here from moving in. We got two very strong high pressures. Actually, this is the strong one here, 1036 millibar. That will force this to the north, which it is doing. And this is the way this is all set up. This will just act like a ramp. The way these bars are drawn is exactly how all this weather is going to move. Can't get in here. There's too much high pressure. That's why the barometer's on the rise here in the LA area. All right, now here's the ocean swell report, and we see that this storm is developing 36-foot seas right in the core. Got 6 and 9 foot seas right off of California. Now the MODIS Today map shows the intense chemtrail spraying going on. Now a lot of this map is whited out, particularly right here in LA, which is right here. So we're missing a very large portion of the map, but we can still see the haze in the area. We have the brilliant white natural clouds right in this area. And over here, and all through here, this looks like snow. But in between all this, we see this gray, this light gray haze. That's the chemtrail spraying. And the jets were out. And that is why this we didn't get any rain. So we see a lot of spraying. And this is the reason why we didn't have rain today in the Southern California area. We can see a lot of chemtrail haze all through this map. This is Baja California down here, and the haze is everywhere. So they were spraying, and that stopped the rain. And down here we see the natural clouds right down here, brilliant white. And as we pan north just a little bit, we can see this off-white gray haze over the tops of these clouds. That prevents the lift, stops the rain. Okay, here is the SSEC water vapor map, and we can see the very large gale force system right here, right there. This is a storm up in the Gulf. This is that big storm that's generating 36-foot ocean swells up there. If you go out a little bit further here, we can see that other storm that is developing out in the West Pacific. And that's heading towards the West Coast. So this system here is why we had a lot of chemtrail spraying. This had a lot of moisture in it, and they were spraying the skies, and that stopped the rain. The pattern is very tried and true. Every time we have every time, unless they want it to rain. If they're going to allow rain into our area, then they do not spray as much or at all. Let's take a look next at the jet stream map. You can see the pattern here. Everything is moving up, and then we have some flow down through California and out through Mexico and out to the east. And we have the next map here is the sea level pressure analysis. We have that high parked right off of the west coast. There's actually a high right up here, right there. So that will block everything as we were talking about. All this will be blocked for the time being. All right, the next is the 500 millibar. And we can see the low pressure right over Southern California. All that moisture. That low that passed by a couple of days ago has moved out over New Mexico. And then we have the 300 millibar. Pretty much the same pattern. We've got that low pressure. But yet at the ground level, at the surface level, we have a rising pressure, 30.02. So that's always the pattern. They are manipulating the ground level of the sea level pressure, and of course that and the chemtrails is stopping the rain. Okay, so that is the report for today. Some of the weather reporting agencies, weather.com is forecasting possible rain showers tonight for the Southern California area. The AccuWeather is not. So who knows what's going to happen, but we should have gotten rain from this. This is a low pressure system. Also, this was a low pressure system. We can see how it's developed as it moved away from California. We now have moisture wrapping around that vortex. If we recall in the last video, this was a dry upper level low, and so there was no moisture spinning around that system. But now that has all changed. Once it moves away from California, things change very very quickly. All right, so that's the report, and we'll do another one tomorrow. That's it.